Welcome back. As we begin at the beginning, sources say 3 vehicles have been retrieved from the Rivers State Deputy Governor's Lodge. Professor Ngozi Odu and the sources say the state government officials removed the vehicles, saying they were needed for official use due to a shortage in the government's fleet. However, the senior special advisor on media to the Rivers State government, Mr. Hector, says only one Hilux and a bus was collected and it was taken for operational purposes. Now, the reports on social media state that 3 vehicles were taken, but official government sources claim that it's 2 and not 3. The common denominator is that vehicles were taken. And the reason given was that it was for operational purposes. Now, besides granting an interview to our correspondent, I also spoke to Mr. Hector, and he did say yes, indeed. They took a Hilux and a bus. It was for operational purpose, not the personal vehicle of the deputy governor. Something about, working on a tight budget, and the vehicles cannot just be laying there where they could be put to better use within the government. And those were the reasons given. Well, on the surface, there's no issue there if you think about it. But if you want to get political like we usually do in River State, then there are lots of conversations. And the first conversation is there an insufficiency of vehicles for administrative use? Of course, we're not asking anybody to buy vehicles because we're on a tight budget. People are complaining about salaries. You can't be doling out cash to buy new vehicles. But was that the only option on the table? And of course, the generic question, could this be political? Is it possible that it's a ploy to target, the suspended governor and the deputy and humiliate the officials? And most importantly, there is always need for fact-checking. When you get something from social media, it's important that you run it through all the necessary checks. Because social media said 3. I'm sure there are blogs that very likely posted more than 3. But the government says 2. And it's official vehicles, not personal vehicles. So these are questions that require answers. And in less than a minute, I'll get the answers from you. Stay with us.
The show continues after this break on Nigeria Info.
Something big is coming to Port Harcourt. It's the Brooks Haven.
Still hard facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Oracle Chinedu here. And we have talked about the River State government recovering vehicles from the deputy governor. We go from that to the senior special advisor, media to the River State government, Mr. Hector Ibiki-Owubo, says it is materially incorrect for pensioners in River State to say that the 2 billion naira meant for payment of outstanding pensions have been stopped. Mr. Ibiki-Owubo said this during an interview with correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu. He said a sum of 2.9 billion naira had already been approved for the payment of outstanding pensions, and that gratuity is the only outstanding that will soon be paid. I believe we can hear from him.
The River State government, under Vice Admiral Ibas, has paid outstanding pensions. The last I checked, He had paid pensions in excess of 2.9 billion. The only thing that we know this government has held on to are gratuities, just to be sure you do not have monies being paid to people who haven't earned it. That's the only outstanding I know about. That will also soon be cleared up. But as for standing pensions, that's been sorted. That was why I said the information you have is materially incorrect.
Well, the State Secretary of the Pensioners Union in Rivers State, Dr. Joseph Agbo, alleged that the 2 billion naira released monthly for the payment of gratuities by the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has been stopped since the sole administrator assumed office.
When I heard the news, it was a very bad news to me because that is the only hope of the poor pensioner. I'm reading a letter to him telling him that the union of pension want to have audience with him. I have not responded, and so we expect that he will respond, whereby we can speak our mind, tell him exactly what the suffering of pensioners of Rivers State. This has affected the life of retired pensioners. Sometimes they go and borrow with the hope that their pension will be paid. But I can't see how somebody will retire from job after 35 years and the payment of benefit becomes a problem. Most of them have died because they could not attend to medical treatment because the gratuity is not paid.
Okay, so there's a back and forth there. You have not paid, and the government says the money is there. We've paid pensions, it's gratuities that we haven't paid yet. Okay, so this particular issue transcends politics, right? Because there are critical government services and functions that should not be disrupted, should never be disrupted, regardless of government. Whether the governor is from APC, PDP, a sole administrator, military, whatever you want to call it, whoever the figurehead of government is, there are some things that we do not joke with. And it's not a question about arguing along party lines or whether or not you support government. It is about the survival of the people, regardless of who the figurehead is. So the payment of salaries, pensions, and benefits to civil servants should not be stopped. Because even in the military regime, workers get paid. Emergency and essential services should not be stopped. Your ambulance, your medical response, your fire, your flood, your disaster, your relief operations should not be stopped. Security and law enforcement, healthcare services, and a couple of things that are directly connected to life, things tagged essential, should not be stopped. So I'm hoping that the government of the day is being truthful about the disbursement of these funds, and hopefully the pensioners get paid. When that is done, we can resume arguing politics. It's time to hear from you. The numbers to call are 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06. 416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. And please turn off your radio as you call. We've talked about the state government recovering vehicles from the deputy governor and the government reaction to withholding of pensions. Coming up next, we'll be talking about the federal government declaring a holiday for May Day tomorrow. My first call is from JJ, calling from Rumibo. JJ, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon to you, Sam Oracle Shinedo.
Good afternoon.
Yes. I know that when the president made a broadcast on the 18th of March 2025, right, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, they said it's supposed to be for 6 months and not forever. The deputy governor is still the deputy governor of Rivers State. How many cars that the sole administrator wants that he cannot get, for goodness sake? That you have to go without notice, go in a commando style with naval personnel to retrieve a car from the deputy governor. She's still the deputy governor, for goodness sake. I don't know if this administrator knows that she's still the deputy governor. It means by the time you try the water and succeed, nobody talks. Tomorrow you will go governor. Because our people say that you take advantage of the heavy wind when for plantain and put the plantain for and blame it on the wind. Who does that, for goodness sake? Are you saying something?
No, I'm not. I'm listening.
Okay, fine. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this our sole administrator should respect democratic institutions. The other time, we had that, he's trying to summon the governor, the deputy to come explain some things. Today, you are push your men because you are a retired naval officer to go there. Why not the police? Why not the DSS?
Okay, JJ. JJ, let me ask you, and it's important to note that I'm playing the devil's advocate now. The reason given is that the vehicles were required for operational use, right? And what was taken?
How many vehicles does he have in his operation?
No, wait. What was taken, according to the spokesperson, is a bus and a Hilux truck, right? Those were the vehicles taken.
How does it affect his operation?
So if in government house they need to do something and they look left, there's no vehicle. Look right, there's no vehicle. And they say, there are two vehicles in deputy governor's house.
The governor have in his convoy?
Wait, nah, JJ. I'm sure you already know where the question is going, right? You know where the question is going, but let me land. 2 motor day for deputy governor house. They know they drive them. Dust. So let us go and take it so that we can operate. Would that be asking for too much?
The governor, the motor that is in deputy governor office, was he the one that was issued to him? They issued the motor to him. So those who issued the motor to the deputy governor, they don't have sense, right? No, tell me now. Since you're advocating as maybe devil or something, tell me those who allocated the cars to the deputy governors to handle, even if you want the car, we are in a civil society. You don't just go and board into our house in a commando style and send naval officer. Why not the police who are civil? Why not the DSS? You brought in naval people because you were former chief of naval staff. Who does that now?
Okay, JJ.
And for the pensioners.
Very quickly,
now,
please.
Conclusively, for the pensioners, what is the media aid telling you? When was the last time they paid the pensioners? Have they even paid salary for this month now for the workers? And maybe it's gathering the money to just take it away, the same way when blow the plantain, also for the salaries. People are watching them.
All right, thank you
very much.
Thank you, JJ. Ida calls from Nkoro. Good afternoon, Ida.
Yeah, Sam Oracle, I greet you.
I greet you too.
This sole administrator, then send and come to come maintain peace or to cause crisis. And when they come into River State as a sole administrator, did they give a deputy governor? How is it disturbing the woman? Why not you go to Martin Samuel, the speaker, collect her from Martin Samuel? Why big time has seen people in the attack? All the 20 LGA when you appoint people, Namike people, go be upon Namike brother. I want to bring us a caretaker no day. Now in the one make people react so that they will sense of emergency. My brother, we are born again. So the follow sin, we born again. We don't look for trouble. We don't want crisis. But everything they want to do, even though in 6 months or something like crisis, they will never see it. I'm going to the deputy governor's law to collect our car, which is not there. Why? Just like what JJ said, police is there, DSS is there. They're going with Navy. Are you going for war? It's not good now. You want to maintain peace. You never call the two parties. You never call state. You never call the former governor of River State, or the assembly members. You are just siding one side. This man should go back to his state too.
Chima calls from Rumokuta. Good afternoon, Chima. I've lost that call. River State retrieving vehicles from the deputy governor is unacceptable. For Christ's sake, she's still the deputy governor of the state and should be given some respect. This is an act of political witch hunt. She's just under mere suspension, not being sacked from office. Humility still covers her. Godday Teme says on WhatsApp. Hello, Chinedu. Collecting vehicles from the suspended deputy governor's residence, for me, there is nothing wrong in that. I mean, what vehicle and how much does it cost that deputy governor cannot get it if she wants? I think the real deal should be if he was taken with good intentions. Enoch from Ada George says on WhatsApp. Good afternoon, Oracle. What is the amount of the budget the administrator is working with? I haven't gotten answers yet. We're not fools in River State. It's an impunity collecting the vehicle from democratically elected officials. And I want to beg for a serious campaign for electoral reform. Let citizens have their say. Emidim from Port Harcourt. Robin calls from HA. Good afternoon, Robin.
Good afternoon. Oracle, Chima.
It's Chinedu, not Chima.
It's not surprising to me.
Okay.
That the Solar is acting the way it's acting. It's a military man now. How do you expect him to send police or civil defense? He's a soldier who should be in, after having retired, he ought to rest. It's not his problem. The people who cause this problem is the former governor, E.N.Wike, Antonio Pocha and his allies. This is what they have voted on us. Why are we surprised? Soldiers go there to collect vehicle, ordinary vehicle. That I, Robin Manda the farmer, I call Jeep Carton. Saluka is wheelbarrow. Let them collect. It will get to a stage they will go from house to house to begin to collect people's wives. A man whom Supreme Court said in a country that the allocation should not be touched. So as Mr. was appointed. CBN, Akadajera, release money to it. It doesn't have money to buy 2 operational vehicles. On the issue of the pensioners, that is why Nigerian soldiers are crying that people are not coming for enlistment into Nigerian armed force. It's getting to a stage where to work as a civil servant in the state is a crime. We will leave it for the children and the sons and daughters of politicians. But they're not going there. They send their children to be lawyers, to be doctors, so that afterwards they will employ them and put them as judges. Chinedu Oracle, let me leave you. Good afternoon. God bless you. And Robin Manda the farmer.
Yes, thank you. Please leave me. Leave me immediately. Emeka calls from Elele. Hello, Emeka. Good afternoon.
My dear brother, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I overheard you on news telling us that some people went to deputy governor's house forcefully to move some bed. My dear brother, we are on the crossroad. Democracy has been hijacked in River State. There is no law in River State again without information. And the same person, the same deputy governor, has immunity. And the sole administrator don't have any immunity. You see, we are sole administrator, an appointee is dismantling democratic elected deputy governor. I don't know whether President Tinubu is hearing this. I don't know. We are in problem in River State too. Don't be also surprised. You wake up in the morning, you will hear that they also went to Governor Fobara house to retrieve some vehicle, and if it's official own and the power bike, we are in problem. The state is bleeding. Regards to pensioner, the so-called essay or media aid to the store administrator, I was listening to him on air. He said the pensioners are lying.
Emeka?
How can those people lie?
Emeka?
Yes?
He's the media aid. He's not a so-called, right? He occupies that position.
The media aid.
Yeah.
To the store administrator, telling us that they have approved the pensioners and this. We don't elderly people lie. I think the store administrator that is sitting there in River City is a pensioner also. The pensioner. If they treat him that he will like it. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Chima calls from Rumokuta. Good afternoon, Chima.
Good afternoon, Mr. Oracle.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Oracle, there is nothing intricating in this business now. Who is in charge of state government property as it stands now in River State? It is sole administrator. Which car do we think he rides on now? He rides on the car the governor was riding as his official car. That was the reason why the governor returned back the car. Why are people doing this kind of thing? Now, if there is a shortage in a supply in the government house, he has to improvise. That's what he did. To make you understand that he is not, what do I say about spending? Now, the motor is lying fallow in the apartment of the deputy governor. Doing what there? Is that not African mentality when we begin to
misuse things, we keep things to not spoil like that drastically. Now the man went to borrow it, which he even has power to even take it and use it. Whenever they return, they can be taken, it can be given back to them. What are we shouting at? He's a military man, for Christ's sake. Who will he work with? It will be disappointing that a military man will allow a police officer to work for him. It doesn't happen anywhere. Even when they get, I wouldn't even want to go to that place. So him working with a Navy man, it's not supposed to be a surprise to us. And those that are peddling evil news, that about one thing about the other, about the payment of gratuity or what. This man is a civil servant that is being retired, that gets pension now. Does he not know what it means to be a pensioner? Why are people doing like this, for Christ's sake? Must be politics in everything? See, Mr. Oracle, let me tell you because...
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I thought the network...
There are some persons that have decided to see how they are going to introgate this man's government and sabotage everything that he is doing. Ordinarily, the man is perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Jima. Satire from Uniport. Let's take a few messages. What is the sole administrators and his handlers doing with the huge allocation they received last weekend that he couldn't pay civil servants' salary for their Workers' Day celebration tomorrow? Why is he repeating the suffering meted out to workers during Wike's era that did not pay minimum wage nor promote workers? Victor from Egbema is asking. Good day, Sam. This is the height of executive rascality. Does we have... Okay, I can't read that question because... Why should Ibokete Ibas take vehicles in the lodge using the military? It's a wrong decision from the administrator. The people are inviting a bad visitor into our politics. We're watching these people. Imao Taka. The 2 billion naira payment of gratuities to pensioners has been stopped for 2 months now. Salaries and pensions for this month have not been paid. And tomorrow is Workers' Day. The first time workers will observe a day without salaries and pensions. Peter calls from Ahoda. Good afternoon, Peter.
Afternoon, Edu.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you see, one thing, I don't like being sentimental over issues. I know some people will not be, they are having a different thought. I'm not against the sole administrator, quite all right. But I don't see anything like vehicle. Vehicle shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't. And to cram it all, how come that this pension issue came up? These things are something that has been gazetted and is down there. They would have been giving it as one as we planned it. You see, this is it's just political. It's just political. I don't like that sentiment. The governor is still there, and the deputy governor is still in charge. They have not been stopped. They have not been removed from their position. It's not. So why should the so that does it mean there are no other people to work with? Let us not do things like this. That's why the fact that he made the sole administrator to oversee the activities for now, which we know too well is illegal. Chinedu, I'm not really happy with this country with the way we do things.
Sorry, Peter. Sorry. Gospar calls from Rumudara. Hello, Gospar.
Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Ayuba Gospar.
Go ahead.
Sam, it is very unfortunate that some people come on radio and start criticizing the sole administrator for using a vehicle or retrieving a vehicle that was supposed to be dropped the moment the same administration was suspended.
Why is it unfortunate? Why is it very unfortunate? People have the right to do that. What's the problem with that?
It's very unfortunate because I am very aware that the deputy governor was communicated and given time to return the vehicle, but she refused. Sam, have you asked yourself, why must he be the deputy governor? The moment their office was suspended, everything attached to that office will not be used by the suspended official.
Sam, we should not take everything to the politics. The moment that office was suspended, everything attached to that office will not be used by that person until he or she has been recalled back to that office. So if the sole administrator limits it to receive that vehicle, I don't think it is something that we should break our head over. And thank God that the aid to the administrator has come to clear the air, that money has been released to our pensioners. Even more than the amount we are talking about. You know, the good thing about the person is that the more these people are still aggrieved, pain, peddle rumors and propaganda, the more the sole administrator put in more efforts to bring back this state to our lost glory. Thank you very much, Azimana Ibadan.
All right, thank you very much, Gaspar. Let's go back to those messages. Hello, Sam. Personally, I don't see anything wrong in taking the vehicles away from the ex-governor. No, the deputy governor, not ex, for logistic purposes. However, all I see is many of the approach, if need be, he had to have formally notified her and not whisk the vehicles out like they did. Well, I forgot. We live in a lawless state. No, we do not. Some of the laws don't work, but it's not lawless. Good day, Mrs. Hamarako. The actions of the sole administrator of River State, Ibokete Ibas, is nothing to write home about. The sole administrator is acting out of Nigeria's constitution. Let the administrator return the deputy governor's vehicles immediately. What kind of democracy are we practicing? Owanete Clinton West. Well, Owanete, according to multiple reports, the vehicles are actually for the government. It's not for her. Yes, it's attached to her office. But indeed, it is for the government. Okay. And Eldada says that there are people escalating the crisis and wondering that the state of emergency will be extended. If care is not taken with the way things are going, they should be advised. I don't understand why the deputy governor's car cannot be taken. When you see a child dancing along the road, you should know that the person playing the music is in the bush. After the reggae plays the blues. Chinedu Samuel. Thank you, Chinedu. But it depends on the road. It depends on the road. Susie from Erema. Hello, Susie.
Yeah, all right. Good day.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Well, let me say that we are beginning to contend with direct and indirect rules of government. And what we are looking at now is actually a direct rule where all democratical powers are suspended. But one very thing that the president have done is to actually give premise to suspending the executive and the legislature in a normal sole administrator or military regime. Every system, even judiciary, is always suspended. But to this extent, the president actually alienated the judiciary and suspend the legislature and the executive that actually have the problem. And anybody who is looking at any judgment should consider from the assumption of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court happens to be the court of policy to that extent. So anything the Supreme Court will rule today will be a standard and has always been the standard. I want to say that if anybody is saying that his own administrator, the deputy governor who we are talking about, Oracle, is my sister, is also from my community. Anything I say here, people from the walks of life in River State will want to say that Susie from the Rema community said this. But I want to tell you, from the annals of military rule, the military rule does not have passion for pity. But the man who is in River State today have done much of that, having pity for people. People have acted or traveled as against the power invested in this man. But to that extent, if what he has done today is contrary to the constitution, the law of the federation, Pardon who is one of the
most brilliant lawyer in Africa today, has said he's waiting for all the lawyers in Nigeria to come and contend with him on the issues from Section 305.
I have to move on now. I can take just one call between now and the break, and that one call is of Barry from D-Line. Hello, Barry.
Thank you, Samarabu.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead. You have 2 minutes. Just over a minute.
Question. Does it mean that our deputy governor has been sacked? Will she be collecting salary or not? Have we collected the vehicles that the former governor, in person of Wike and others use? Sam, I'm asking you. Does it mean that they've collected all the vehicles from other former governors and the deputy governors? Why are we acting this way? This man, he has been accused of coming to do the bidding of the former governor. And today you are acting like the spirit with a shame. This is not nice. It's not nice, Sam. I am thinking that the earlier the better the Rivers people come together and end this shameful act in our state, the better for all of us. I am not happy with what is happening to this government. Because tomorrow, it will play back to their family. Their children will want to be governor, and the standard is already there for them. I'm not happy with it at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barry. Well, we have just about a minute before we take a break, and then I read remaining messages. But can I squeeze one or two in within that time frame? Yes, I can. Good evening, Chinedu. I feel that we're making mountains out of a molehill in this issue of vehicle being collected by the suspended deputy governor. Shouldn't we be asking what the suspended governor is still doing with the Hilux buses? Is she performing any official duty while under suspension? The vehicles are for the purpose of governance, and she'll get them back when she's reinstated. Bright from Migruta says, hello, Sam. Was there shortage of cars in the government house when the governor and his vice were on board? Where is the current shortage coming from? Bernard from Port Harcourt is asking. That's a good one. Well, there are too many questions to answer, but what we have heard from the government is that the vehicles were recovered for operational purposes. So let the operations begin. After the break, I take more messages. Stay with us.